in an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. So let's go for it. Yoram, it's all yours.
Simon, can you share with me, please? Can you give me a share screen, please? And Ryan, I know you also worked on it and was on the site, so we're going to. I mean, today we have a very, I think, quite important meeting or brainstorming that we want to share with you. You know, for a long time, when we basically Cardano for climate objective from day one is how can we impact. We see a huge opportunity to impact the blockchain, Cardano blockchain, that climate change will be inherent in everything they do, right? And we see it as a big opportunity actually for the blockchain because yeah, a lot of models are going to change because of climate change, just like blockchain technology, and putting them together will create more opportunities. So, and it's been amazing right up to now, right? In the last 5 months, you know, we started as a challenge, we became a community, tens of proposals, I mean, all the engagements, events, and so on. It's only the beginning. And we did a lot of brainstorming and thinking all the time, okay, you know, our goal is set to impact the Cardano blockchain, so how can we do it? So we will present to you today some work we did together. And it's a really brainstorming, it's initial drafts, and it will be great, you know, to everyone to give feedback and yeah, let's take it from here and build kind of the milestone, the roadmap to achieve what we want to achieve. So let me share with you the screen. Let me know when you see my screen. I think this one. You see my screen, right? Okay, perfect. Good. So what's the goal, you know, of all the hard work we are doing and all the us coming together, all the smart people with all the energy. And so really our goal is to make this solution to climate change an inherent part of the activities of Cardano, right? And what we are doing is developing and supporting climate change new model and applications, technology tools for transparency and traceability, impact measurement and verification. We want to elevate the level of conversation, right, of what is climate change, what needs to be done, and so on. And we connect it to actually things that are happening on the ground. I mean, climate change is not only technology, there's actual things happening on the ground. And yeah, again, we have regenerative agriculture, forest, and so on. Green energy. We got a lot of inspiration. I don't know if any of you have been in the call of town hall a couple of weeks ago, in the session organized by Swarm about governance with Mihaela and Ernesto. But I highly recommend, there is the link here in the presentation. Everyone have the link of the presentation in the chat. So I highly recommend for you to go and see it. But basically what it says that we go into a new paradigm, right? We go into a new things and we go very fast actually to a new type of models, but we don't understand it, what the models are and what it would be, like a new type of language. And we cannot build rules for it now because it actually will not be the right rules. We will fail. And basically, yeah, a very fast a new paradigm is evolving. And I think what we can try and do and aspire for is how can we make sure that this new model, again, will take into account nature and people. We will not create just another model which benefits some people and don't take care of the nature, right? So, I mean, just kind of connecting some philosophy with what we are doing. So we started again climate change as the challenge, right? We started in this way. And I think we are today in a phase which is called climate change, the collaboration, right? I mean, that's the phase we are today and we are going to present to you today. You know, we all remember Scott's words is that climate change is a fellow of collaboration, you know, from the first conference, with all his vast experience, you know, working with 100 multinationals and huge projects around the world and so on. So we are in the phase now of collaboration, and this is what we are going to discuss today, with the objective to connect to climate change for life, right? I mean, eventually we want that climate in general will be part of our life and not a subject we need to fix, right? Eventually, it should be part. So, and one of the things we figure out, and again, thanks Heinz and many other discussions and so many activities, is that we are all Cardano for climate, right? I mean, all of us are part of it, all of us are doing different things, but we are all part of it. So how we collaborate, all of us together. And we came up with this animal, as Heinz just said, strange animal or design or yeah, a figure. And so the way we imagine, and again, it's brainstorming and give ideas, let's develop it. But the way we imagine actually Cardano for climate, we don't imagine it to have a body with, a head of the body and then like official and separate from the rest. Everything is Cardano for climate, right? So many activities are happening. So for Cardano for climate should be a collaboration platform, right? That's really what it should be. And the collaboration platform obviously will have in it part of Cardano Foundation, IOG, Margo, Catalyst. They will have part in it, right? They will have also part outside, but part of it. And it will have so many things that are happening. It will have projects like Little Fish and Little Coin, companies that are already established, more established, like Verity and CardaShift. All of them are taking part. All of them we are discussing. CardaShift as well is starting to be very interested in what we are doing, and so on. So it will have different companies. It will have included inside different subjects, right? That people are leading and interested in. We jumped. Jumping. Energy, forest, again, regag, carbon, which is a big issue. It will have different tools that we are building. Will be open source tools, right? Will be in this platform for collaboration to measure verification, traceability, and so on. And it will have organization, again, DLTC6 is a good example. I mean, they are focusing on, in general, risk and opportunities, DLT for risk and opportunities, but part of it related to Cardano for climate, so they are part of it, right? They are part of this ecosystem. And then this collaboration platform can start interacting basically, or can start having, how we connect more to not related to blockchain, right? So how we do, which we do a lot of these activities already, right? How we are able to use everything we gather here to make impact on there. How we connect to other blockchains, right? And make sure that the impact is bigger. Connecting to companies and NGOs, how we do marketing, together. So instead of each one doing marketing separately, we kind of take all the collaboration platform and support that and do marketing for that. Bring investors, mentors, and so on. You got the gist on that. So that's really kind of, and already now it's happening. So the Cardano Foundation already sending us contacts of people contacting them, and already, Cardafish and Veritree, and already a lot of that is happening. But how can we, and because of that, actually, if we create a collaboration better and faster, it can actually happen much stronger and faster, right? And that's the goal. It's not, we don't need to just go. I mean, it's already happening. We see the interest. We saw how we grow already to over 200 people in just a few months with tens of projects. Okay, how we take it to the next level, right? So that's really it's not how we go Cardano for climate, but how we grow the collaboration platform as a goal. And then again, I put SPOs, events, and meetup. SPOs, obviously, we'll have separate SPOs related to impact, which we have a lot already in Cardano, but each project can have a SPO and, again, events and meetup and so on, right? So it's kind of living together, and each one can do his own stuff. I will finish 2 more slides, and then we can open it to discussion. Really, the key is to get feedback and ideas. And how to manage that? I mean, that's a tough question, but the things that came to mind for us for now is, I mean, like the catalyst circle a little bit. So let's create a Cardano for climate circle, right? Kind of that have expertise that touch different areas. So that's kind of the idea, how to start managing the collaboration platform. So again, just to take a platform we know. I don't know if it's the perfect one, but that's a good way to start, and we can change roles and yeah, do that in that way. And really, and our goal, of everything we do eventually, and that came up in the last call and some brainstorming, we want that climate change will not be an issue. I mean, right? So then we will be easy to relax, and we want that climate is humanity friend and so on. So yeah, I mean, it's a short presentation, but big objectives, and happy to hear your thoughts about that. It makes sense, what to improve. Yeah.
As usual, Yoram sets the bar very high, and we will reach it together, not by ourselves, but we're going to work on this, keep working on it.
Yeah, anyone want to jump? Ryan,
yeah,
I will let Ryan first.
Yeah, any initial thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, Yoram. I appreciated your presentation. Yeah, very insightful and give a lot of motivation. And yeah, and I found the Venn diagram or the mind map, yeah, very interesting. It's difficult to comprehend and to analyze. First, I think we need more time to go through it. But I think it's a good way to brainstorm about what resources we have, what actions we need to do, and what tools and yeah, like meetups to be able to execute. Yeah, thank you.
And Yoram, can we share a link in the chat?
Yeah, of course.
And then we can add it. So if you want to change anything and you're not sure about it, just copy and paste the slide, do a new slide, and then just have at it. And yeah, go from there. Heinz, you're up.
Yeah, I will need to jump out in a couple of minutes, so I just want to use the opportunity. So what I think we can contribute as part of Cardano for Climate is kind of making sure that all this complexity is visualized in a very easy to comprehend way, and is also noticed as opportunity. Not, of course, we're talking about risks, but we will always try to visualize it in a way that we see mainly the opportunities out of this work. And as we plan to do, let's say, high-level quarterly reporting and video shootings, I think it's a good opportunity to get the, let's say, environment dimension of our joint work really on a priority. So I have a very good feeling. Also, tomorrow we will meet Christian, so we will talk about that what we talked last meeting. And now I'm happy to be a bubble among the many bubbles here. Great.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens with bubbles? They come together and eventually they form bigger bubbles, and that's what
and
we're
I'm
doing.
sorry. There is many more bubbles that I didn't put, so of the projects and of Catalyst, and there's many more bubbles here, but just put some that symbolize.
And that's
sorry
the
if
other
anyone,
point.
Yeah.
Everyone is welcome. We want to make this inclusive. We don't own this idea. What I've seen from being in here for this little while is that so much of this is going on and it's coming up from the ground up in parallel. And eventually we know parallel lines by definition are not supposed to meet until you change your perspective. And eventually at some point or another, we do make these connections. So if you're seeing other groups coming out of Cardano working on things, I'm just, starting to discover more and more and drawing them in so we can just have a central place to come and speak, even though we're decentralized still. Lawrence, your turn.
Hey guys, morning. Yeah, great job. I think this is great to put this all together. It helps definitely the new people and even myself, just that have been here a few sessions, just to kind of see all the landscape and the different activities. So I think this is great. So, and obviously it's going to continue to evolve. And then the only suggestion or comment I have is really going to be around So obviously this is really around, initially was around climate change. And there seems to be a lot of other kind of groups, whether it's pollution or you got regenerative agriculture, which is related. So the question is how broad should it get? And I don't think anyone has a particular answer. Clearly there's advantages because the stuff that like LitterCoin's doing, there's synergies there, and there's stuff that's repeatable and can be shared. So in some senses, it makes, I think, probably a lot of sense to have very broad, but also but the counter argument is that then it can get maybe too broad, and it really, what is its main focus and priority? So that'd be the only kind of food for thought. I don't know what the right answer is. I think definitely more on the collaboration is probably more beneficial. So we don't want to be too narrow, but also you don't want to have maybe every possible scenario, because then it might become a bit unwieldy. That'd be my only 2 cents. So I don't know how we, draw those types of lines, but those would be the only considerations that I would have. It looks great.
I do have an opinion on that too, for
Sure.
sure, because it's easy to get too scattered.
Yeah.
What I do notice is that if we can do a thin connection to all these, as they become more important or more people are connecting with it, those connections get bigger and they grow. So for myself personally, I want to make those connections because I don't want to be the person to stop them from happening. Like I want to be a vessel and just say, look, you're welcome to come. And I believe there's no mistake that we've ended up with this shell shape as our mascot. And we start at the beginning and we keep growing out. I do hear you, and it is really easy to get scattered out. There's no way we can do it all, but there is a place to actually connect and then see where it goes from there.
I will add one thing. Sorry, Ryan. I think also it's not really how it will grow doesn't really depend on any one of us somehow. I mean, or it depends on all of us, right? Because I mean, regenerative agriculture, obviously it's a different field, but it's a very close alignment to climate change as well as energy and so on. But it's people basically. I mean, it's not that there is it's community members that takes that and grow that, right? They say, okay, we are interested to grow that part, and somehow the community helps. So where the border lines, actually, someone asked the other day a good question: what happens if an oil company wants to be part of the platform? What do we do, right? So the first intuition was, okay, we said no, but then the second intuition said, why not? Bring them to the conversation. If they're coming to the platform, they need to be part of the collaborative platform, right? So share information. I mean, let's discuss. I mean, again, I don't have the answer, as you said, but it's things that we need to discuss about and see if we want to solve this problem. But yeah, but great feedbacks. Thank you.
And there is always the fear of the, what could happen, the things that could go wrong, and it'll stop us from moving forward. We don't know what this box looks like, which shouldn't be a box. We don't know what this will become, which is really scary for a lot of people. We kind of want to have our plan written out. We want to know what's coming. We don't know. I think we do know that if we don't act now, we're in deep, without addressing climate change. So that's one fact that we do know about the future. Ryan, you're up.
So good presentation, Norm. Thank you. When we're talking about impact, I think that's where we really begin to see the ways that this conversation and this group ties into everything that we're doing. Previously, I scored a month of my activities for emissions, and I got something around 13.5 tons of CO2 released, which is below the US average, but still 4 times what on Earth. And going through that exercise, which I just started again yesterday, the first of the month, really showed me that the impact happens with what you buy, and it affects the supply chains, it affects the workers behind it, it affects how everything is grown. And when you go through that and look at it from a very granular level of what we do, climate change and regenerative agricultural and water rights and trucking, it is all tied together, and it's one network and economy that we're in. And seeing Cardano for Climate branch into all these different things, it's not really us branching into these things, because these things are already present in each of these different areas. Every single Catalyst proposal has a impact score. None of them are zero. And I think that this group's collaborative focus is on just education of that. And once you know what your impact score, inherently, you make decisions based on that, the same as you do with the cost of a product. And if we can just help to educate these different areas of the Cardano blockchain, that's all it is. And it becomes as inherent as cost. You know, you start looking at which is the loaf of bread to buy, but then maybe you look and see which one's local, because you know it has less shipping emissions. You know, and I think, I mean, the roadmap for Cardano for Climate for me is 100% of the Catalyst, you know, at least attached to some of our members being a part of that, because everything that Cardano does and Cardano for Catalyst, every single proposal has an impact. And you know, we talk about traceability, supply chains, these are all buzzwords in the ecosystem, but we're still not understanding what they really mean and what those are. We're looking at a good and tracking its UPC code and calling that traceability. We need to know what the product is and what its impact is. And I think we're primed for that. And, you know, excited to be a part of this. And it's only going to get better.
It's like the GIF that we have of the neural pathway. You know, it goes super fast. It's all connected. About plastic, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet on Netflix, The Plastic Ocean, and you'll see the impact of litter on biodiversity. Heartbreaking to see birds with stomachs full of little pieces of plastic because they break down. So it's a huge part of it. And when we come at it from our own perspective, we don't see that. We're hoping that we'll be a place that we can broaden people's perspectives on what is important in all these different interconnections. On our own, we don't understand the bigger picture. I'm going to pass it on to you, Nori. Thanks for waiting.
Sure. I just want to say I really like this idea of creating a collaboration platform. I just have a question. When you use the word platform, I'm a software developer and architect, so I think of like AWS or Facebook as a platform, and there's a set of APIs and things. I don't think that's what you mean here. So yeah, just getting some clarity on that. Do we mean like collaboration commons in the way that Ernesto talked about commons in his talk? That would, then that kind of solidifies the idea for me.
Let's define
but the other
it
thing
now.
is, I love,
Yeah, what does it mean? Yeah.
like
100%.
he talked about there being communities, but a community isn't a commons. It's all the stuff the community does and builds together and has a shared set of agreements and different things they operate with. But I also wanted to mention that just the way I see this is this kind of like a container for all of our activities that we're not directly trying to control or plan out or envision. We just want to create a safe container in which anybody who wants to play and agrees with our culture that we're building can come and contribute. And I do think that the power of what we're doing is the power of networks. So it's not just about Cardano for Climate. This could be one of the hubs but there's so many spokes to all sorts of different communities and other networks and other groups. And I think it's just a lot of it's connecting and making sure that the communication's flowing between networks and acting as that neuron passing messages to the other networks and stuff. So, but I think there is a lot of stuff here. So I would like to see like, what's the core value? I think we should go through maybe a value discovery session one of these days as a community and kind of understand and kind of agree on what's our core values or what's our why statement, and happy to help with that. I've done that a few times with groups, but
And
I think that would really solidify things.
can you
at
work
least
with
on the
TiVo
purpose.
on that? Could we work with TiVo in collaboration with that and use the Miro board for that? Because that's one of the things
Yeah,
that we've been
absolutely.
kind of it's been out there, it's been a connection and it hasn't been solidified. Absolutely fantastic. So let's connect with TiVo. We could do it at one of the meetups, or we can end up with a different meeting altogether, depending on time wise.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Happy to help out there. Thanks for this.
Yeah, figure out what our heart
Yeah.
is, where our heart is in all this. Yes.
Thank you. So I have some propositions. First, about the diagram for mapping meetings and teams and events. So it will be more complicated in the futures as we have more partners, more members. So maybe it will be helpful to have a broad one, and we can drill down, for example, and we can right now we can have names of events and of teams, but afterward we can have just types, for example, forest or agriculture related projects, and we can drill down in another slide, and we have all projects related to agriculture, projects and events about CO2 to be able to give more meaning with less words. The second point is about education. I'm wondering where we can have education in this diagram, and I'm thinking of both type of education about climate change and our climate, and about Cardano, the blockchain technology, and how to use it, and how to develop on it, something like that. So, and education is, I want to be clear that education is not marketing. So if you want to do marketing for Cardano, it will be distinct from educations to not mislead people. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead,
After
Nora.
seeing you, I added education part also on the, of course.
Perfect. Because we don't see it all. And this is a big heart of mine, is to educate people as well. Don't have the time to do it. And here comes Elias joining our group, you know, from outside and taking this on. It's fabulous. So that's the other thing, is the organization of it. So, you know, right now, all these little pieces are collected on Discord, some in GitHub. You know, we're creating some sort of a library, the beginning of a library. We want it to be accessible to everybody, as well as the education, which means the languages, time zones. You know, there's all sorts of different things. No one person can do this. No three people can do this. It is a community that needs to finish what we're starting. Thank you, Elias. Thank you so much for being here. Simon.
Yeah, so I think what Nori said made a lot of sense. Like, we're kind of, you know, neural pathways to different organizations and projects, and yes, I think that is what. Yeah, you put it onto the slide as well now. Network, we're a network, I think, in the Catalyst ecosystem. And you know, recently I've thought about, because I'm looking into other blockchains as well right now. I thought maybe we can even broaden our horizon in that way, but let's not talk about that now. as right now we're in the Catalyst ecosystem, right? And yeah, I also really love that how you wrote that it started with a challenge, because it's exactly how it started. When Melanie created the challenge, like 2 in the morning before the end, right? And now half a year later, we have a lot of really awesome projects here that you know communicate with each other, and also I think like a big benefit that we can bring to the community is getting you know new people into the ecosystem, into projects that are already you know working on something, that need talent, that need help, and yeah, I think that is something that we can really help with, but also maybe some kind of mediation. We hear a lot of problems, you know, a lot of not so nice discussions happening in the ecosystem lately. This what it is. We're gonna do our best, right?
We'll figure it out, and we'll keep the criticisms, you know, and the negative stuff down. I'm going to come in as a mama bear, put my thumb down. Don't do it very often, but you know, you play fair, or you go to your room, you know, one or the other. So, you know, I've been a mother for many years. Simon, you did bring up a point there. I wanted to. Starting this challenge, it was Dor in Catalyst in Fund 6, and he said, if you've got a wild idea, just do it. So, and that's been the heart of the motivation for me to keep doing this. We just do it. We don't know where it'll go, but let's just keep with that thought in, and look where it's taken us in 5 months by just doing it, putting yourself out there, following your heart, and doing something different. Unexpected. And I certainly wouldn't expect to have been here facilitating meetings 5 months ago. The last thing I would have expected to be doing. Heinz, over to you. Simon, were you done?
I just wanted to say, also with the education part, I hope that the Catalyst School can help with that. Yes, that's really.
Yeah, and that's the piece. We don't want to have to reinvent everything. We want to connect with what's already going there. Even you going to other blockchains, Simon, discovering what's already out there. How can we build on that instead of starting all over again? That's too much work. You know, there's things happening. All we have to do is figure out how we fit together. Heinz.
Yeah, so I'm back, had to jump out for a couple minutes. So I would love to from our side, we call it a lot network, because it looks similar from DLT 360 perspective with all the different dimensions, and environment is one of the priorities. What I do hope, what I like is your weekly meeting. I do hope you don't create breakout rooms, because I really like to have, maybe the different contributors need to have a very disciplined 5 minutes or 10 minutes in the weekly meeting to update. But the breakout rooms are always so, I guess you experience the same, Melanie, in the town hall. It's so difficult to choose which breakout room to go. And we, from our side, I think the best we can do is working with Miro boards, open the Miro boards, and everyone that has, of course, we need to do an initial work. We will talk about that probably tomorrow. But then people can contribute in the background without dedicated meetings. And if we could once in a while report where we are, it's actually a good thing of sharing. And the same we will try with the town halls, but here it's of course specifically for the environment. And talking about education, what we do in our let me call it more opportunity radar than risk radar. It consists of elements, and these elements contain, of course, description, what is it, but also links to books and to the latest academic papers. So that's a bit more than education. We try for every dimension of the risk and opportunity radar to have the hottest, the most valid literature actually available. And that can only work up to date if a lot of people, a big network contributes. That's not doable for a couple of people. So that's maybe to the education bubble. It's also kind of the contribution of first sources and interesting academic papers we want to add. And of course, it's a bi-directional sharing. We try to collect and visualize, but of course, it only works if a lot of people contribute.
Because up till now, what do we got? We've got Google. If we want information, if you're just coming out from the outside, I need to Google some information and you're going to be fed something. It would be nice to have the resource that says this has been vetted information,
Yep.
which is a whole other piece of it. This is the scientific papers. This is what's important. This is what we believe to be true.
Right, we are doing literature review as one of the first steps to all the dimensions. And of course, this needs to be kept up to date. This is not only once to do, it's something to keep, but it's amazing what's actually, it's exploding at the moment. Very, very good. A lot of course, also, I don't want to say garbage, but it's a lot of noise, but it's a lot of good stuff happening currently.
Yeah, so we got to figure out how you're doing this and what, because we've been doing it, plopping things in Discord for now, just to sort of as a placeholder, so things aren't lost in the chatter.
We have this as a nicely, let's say, accessible element in when you look at the opportunity radar and see a certain opportunity, like for example. Could be one opportunity, energy neutral stake pool. There could be a lot of, let's say, the relevant papers, the relevant sources are documented in that element. So it's really structured. It's not data, it's information, and it's even structured to become knowledge. So
this is really incredible. It felt like a weight just got lifted off my shoulders, Heinz. Because we've made this connection. Someone's already doing this, and it's been in my heart. And here it is. You're part of my heart. You're part of what
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
And we can only succeed together because it's, of course, one thing is, as I said, to do it once, but another thing is to keep it up to date.
Yes. Consistency. Thank you, Heinz. Lawrence.
Yeah, one quick comment, and I'm going to agree with what everyone's saying. Is a suggestion is maybe consider this almost like the C4C collaboration universe. Like it really, what we're trying to do is we're expanding, trying to find out other, common goals. And then back to the center, like what's it all ties it together. It really is around helping the earth, right? Like it's protecting the earth. And so those are kind of your core principles. And Nori talked about this that probably need to dive in and value, but that does really help because you're expanding your universe of projects and things and activities, yet the core value, as you guys are talking about, is really around, how to save the earth. And then that helps, if someone's just interested in making money or something like that, that doesn't really align with that kind of core value or that, then maybe that's really not something that we need to track as part of this universe, right? So just a suggestion, but I think definitely further discussions are needed to discuss the core values, but that just came to my head. And I think it aligns well with this idea that this expanding universe, which I agree is really important to get all the connections. That's key.
I think Yora may need to speak to that one because he's got this metaverse formulating, picturing it as a landscape of some sort.
No, first of all, it's great to hear, common network universe. It's great to hear. And we have, big dreams again. Again, it's all still evolving, but we have big dreams how to bring it more accessible to more people, right? And make it more concrete and connect. And part of it, is through a universe, a metaverse, all of that. But it's very early talks and discussions. We can take it even to the next level, speak, okay, how we maybe tokenize all this ecosystem, right? And exchange between the ecosystem value, nature value. I don't know, again, it's still early stage. I think it's just yeah, I mean, there's so many things going on. So the first objective, how we bring them together. And from that, we can start imagining so many things that will come that we don't even know, right? As Ernesto said, there's a new model and we probably don't know. But yeah, I mean, universe is, I think it's an excellent word actually to use. Thank you for that.
And
sir.
tokenization is coming in from Gimbal Labs, our collaboration with them, and other interesting things.
I definitely
NFTs.
see, yeah, I definitely see Gimbal Lab here with their model can easily incorporate it here, and you know, yeah, then we need to share it with James and the team there and get their feedback for sure.
Yeah. So many, many, many things happening. I love the idea, Heinz, though, of not going into breakout rooms and you know, working. We're small enough, I believe, that we could start a new paradigm, you know, with using the mirror board and having these discussions. You know, the chat often lights up with, you know, conversation going on. Why not put that on mirror board? And it is a bit of a challenge for anybody that's you know, visually, when all those things are moving around, I find it a little bit distracting, but I'm starting to get used to it and just let it happen. At some point we will have to, you know, we're growing into a tree, and there may be times that we do need to use breakout rooms to talk about a different branch and to have that voice and not just communicate through little sticky notes. So let's leave it loose and open. So hands have gone down. Anybody else? Edwin, nice to see you.
Hello, nice to see you again. Yeah, I'm late because I had to go to do some COVID test and some stuff like that. Nowadays, you know how it is with COVID everywhere.
Yeah, it's okay.
So,
We won't dock any pay, no problem. Sick
Uh,
leave, no problem. Take all the time you want.
I
Your
have a
wage
question.
doesn't change.
Yeah, I have a question because I was late. I don't know what you discussed until now. So I was interested because now I'm running a project. It's called World of Pirates, which is a game, and we have a campaign that in this campaign we try to have each month, but now because we are at the beginning, we are doing the campaign for 2-3 months, and in these 2-3 months we sell one of our NFT, and half of the revenue, for instance, in the last 3 months we gathered money from our NFTs, and half of this revenue we donated, for instance, now to Sea Shepherd. And now we want, actually, I discussed also last time, I was thinking to donate to do the same for Little Fish, but I need some contacts to speak with someone there. We have already a card that will be an NFT for our game, but I'm thinking to get some contact with someone that can tell me where I can donate, like a Cardano address or something like that, which is not easy.
Yeah, Uzgur just slipped out. He just left. So you guys overlapped. You met. Your ships crossing in the night.
Yeah.
He just left. Jim, I'm going to try and buzz away. We'll get the Discord channel for Little Fish. They are on Telegram as well. Are you part of our Telegram group, Cardano for Climate?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have to check because I'm in so many Telegram groups right now.
Okay, I'm going to drop some. I'm going to go get some links. Yorm's taken over for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is every Monday at 7 p.m. UTC, there is a Little Fish meeting. Very nice one. Join us. I mean, it can be very interesting that first of all, you hear the meetings and if you can join them, that will be great. Otherwise, we'll give you the link. But yeah, it's also a very exciting project coming out of the community, developing very nicely. Everyone is welcome. Monday, 7 p.m. UTC. And this is a great idea. I mean, to combine the NFTs and contribution into Little Fish, it can be amazing.
I am on their Discord, but yeah, I will check also. So yeah, I mean, if you are interested with what we did until now, I shared the link. This is actually today, like now, 2 days ago, finished the campaign, and we prepared the next campaign that we want to start in March. So we have some time until March to set up this rightly, and then this will run for 2-3 months. So yeah, I will contact them on maybe on Discord, or I will try also to go to the meetings.
So if you look for Gem is CEM, or Uzgar, Shakan, CAGKAN. Those are the 3 people that I would connect with. You know, Edwin, this is so beautiful because our first funding round, Uzgar was here talking about planting the trees, that we were able to collectively, each one of us put in a little bit to get this started. We just wanted to get started and do it. So we each contributed a little bit, went through a very simple process, learning by doing. And then it's like, okay, where do we get more funds from this? And now there's this connection where you have this. So I'm so glad that Jem jumped in and just did it. Said, we're going to just start with this. We don't know where the rest of the funds are coming. We're going to start collecting the people on the ground that we can start supporting. Like Heinz is, you know, we're going through these proposals to a point and saying, these are people we know. We're going ones tracking their record, and you'll know through the transparency where your funds are going to. So yeah, thank you, Nori. Yoram, go ahead.
No, I'm done on that. No, I think this is exactly when we speak about the common, the network, the universe. I mean, we speak exactly about that, right? How easy we can connect if all of us are on the same platform and bring value to each other and help everything grow. So it's a good reflection of what we try to create, basically. Or what it's creating anyway already. It's happening already, but we want to take it to the next level. Thank you for that, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for jumping in. And yeah, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
I mean, also for our project, this is the part maybe that I'm missing right now. It's the transparency. So I'm trying, for instance, Sea Shepherd has also Cardano address. That's nice. And now we send it the funds exactly there, and everyone can see the transaction from what we gathered in the last months. Yeah, we hope that we can do the same for the little fish, and maybe help to grow this community or this universe even bigger.
And that's a big piece you bring up, is the traceability, which is what we are also working on. So WADA has brought in a group called Joget, and they're using a user-friendly platform to be able to start tracking things and recording things on the blockchain. So that's another piece that we want to bring in, so that, you know, as a consumer, when I donate something, I want to know where that money goes. Right now, Kiva, you know, you put it in, you don't know 100% for sure where it goes, to a point. It's just the system that we have. No criticism on it. It's just what we have right now, but I think we can make it better. I know we can make it better. Yoram.
Yeah, no, I mean, as Melanie said, I mean, this is a big focus for many people of the community, and me personally this year, is about tools for traceability, transparency, impact measurement, and impact verification. I mean, without that, it's a lot of important intention and good talks, but yeah, we need that, I think, to create trust, and this is why the blockchain is so exciting. So yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, you want to make sure that the money you give right to Little Fish goes to the right place, being used in the right way, and there is kind of an impact NFT back to that. Actually, we can write on the NFT back somehow, this is the impact this money was created, okay, specifically, and then you bring more value into somehow to the NFT even. because it's NFT that created some impact. So anyway, we speak a lot about that. You're really welcome to join the conversation, and yeah, would be great to collaborate. Very strong team there. So yeah.
Can we take off the screen share? I'm not
course.
sure how. Oh, maybe oh, I know how I can do this. Leave it on there. I needed to see everybody's faces, and you know, watch if anybody's coming off mute. Tyler, how are you doing? He's probably working or playing with his kids. And Andre, it's really nice to see you too. It's really good to put, you know, faces, especially when you're, you know, spending a lot of time on the computer doing techie stuff. Really nice to actually connect people to people, heart to heart, right? It'll make your work easier knowing that you're doing it for the earth, for climate, for projects. There's a really good connection. And please feel free to jump in. I have a small update. Just a sec, Andre, just please feel free to jump in if you feel like it.
Yeah. I'm just listening in today. Since it's our first time, I'm just catching up.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to lurk. Once in a while, I'll put you on the spot though. Dimitri, you've got an update. Go ahead.
Yeah, so on the 5th, which is on Saturday, I'll be doing another run for the pet food, the animal waste collecting the pet food, which I did last 2 weeks ago. So this time I'm planning on expanding the volume as well as perhaps doing some video to show, well, I won't show the actual process of the slaughter, that's too graphic, but my collection and how I collect it, and then how I cook it, and how I then you know, feed. Last time I showed photographs, so I might show some video of how the street dogs get fed with the cooked pet food after it's been processed. I mean, after I've collected it and cooked it and then distributed it. So I'm planning on doing some videos, so I can add that to my Little Fish proposal whenever it's having the platform of adding the content for donations and stuff like that. So that's an update.
Perfect. Thank you, Dimitri, which reminds me that's the other place that we collect things is in our YouTube channel. So we have, we'll set one aside for you, Dimitri, maybe for Little Fish, you know, that we can start collecting these videos so that we have a place for people to go and instead, because we're just too scattered out. I know we're supposed to be decentralized, but it feels like we need to centralize information and decentralize what we actually do and who controls it. So yeah, Simon, welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Am I muted or not? I can't tell. There we go.
You're
I'm on
not
my iPad.
muted.
It's the first time I've logged in off an iPad, so I didn't know where I was pressing anything. There we go. Finally made it back from the hospital, so good.
Good. Little baby, is that right?
Yeah, she's just gone for a TB shot, so couldn't get here on time, but I thought better late than never.
Tell us about your baby, because this is why we're doing this, is for the
Yeah,
future.
exactly. That's it. Once you know there's a problem to be solved, you can't ignore it anymore, can you? You've got to get off the couch and get your ass into gear, basically. Mm-hmm. She's what, 3 weeks old now, since Monday. So baby Lena, she's a lovely little girl. Mum's Nigerian, I'm British, so she's got a nice mixed ancestry there as well. Got family over in Nigeria, so there's a lot of what Cardano is going on. I'm talking to brother-in-laws about, saying, guys, you need to get doing into crypto. There's a massive change coming. So all exciting times for me. I'm still at the early stages with my project. There's a few of us met on Lumio looking to do, we started off thinking UK sort of democracy, working in that arena, but we're sort of still in discovery trying to work out exactly what we're going to solve as a problem yet. So the more I learn about crypto and the more I see about DAOs and things like that, my mind's just getting blown at the moment. So it's, I think what we're looking to do is start a an app that can work for community groups to help them organise, but linked into what Extinction Rebellion are doing. So there are people who are sort of protesting, but we're trying to steer them more down than actually let's go and sort of the democracy side of things, rather than just expecting the government to do something. Because I don't think we're getting anywhere with Extinction Rebellion and getting the government to change. It's going to take years and years and years. So I'm like, we need to start a parallel democracy from the grassroots movement and start working on it that way and build the tools that are going to help people organise themselves.
Exactly. I saw you doing that, MJ. Exactly.
Yeah.
Parallel,
You know,
working in
the
parallel.
XR, yeah.
Yeah. And you have high motivation. So Lena was born 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've got two other kids as well, one who's 8 years old and one who's 16, who's the grumpy one. He's a gamer. He kind of just grunts at you now. If Minecraft was the real world, we'd be solved. The kids would dig everything up and rebuild it. But unfortunately, it's just out there in cyberspace, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the other element of this too, is there's games involved. As much as I hate kids being on computers,
yeah.
You know, it's a fact of life and we can turn it into games. Littercoin is doing that as well. So there's a lot of cool things going on. You're talking about a user interface between Extinction Rebellion, you know, so you're bringing people off chain. Tell me again, is your expertise in applications or
I've
deeper
spent
into blockchain?
30 years working in IT. I spent the first 12 as a developer, sort of started off with COBOL and worked through client server, sort of used to do Power Builder client server tool and Oracle databases and SQL Server. But the last 16 years, I've moved into a sort of technical testing role. So doing system integration work. So in the group that we're working in, I'm sort of the guy who's talking about all the IT possibilities. You know, I've worked for sort of large corporations and governments integrating different platforms together, making sure data flows work and that kind of thing. So what I'm looking now is, can we build something using cloud and blockchain technology that sort of links everything together? So, you know, you might have your voting system in one app and your idea generation system in another app, but I want the data to flow all between those, and then a budgeting system and how you track the budgets, where they're being spent. So we've started using the tool. I was watching the Little Fish presentation the other night where they were using the platform development toolkit. So I've taken a copy of that into Miro and started working on that. I've only got as far as working out the actors so far, but just going through that process, I'm like, yeah, I'd forgotten about these people. How are we going to get them involved? So it's definitely a worthwhile exercise going through that at the start of your discovery.
So as you speak, you know, this is the whole difference between open source and proprietary, right?
Yeah.
We can come and, oh my God, Simon has this idea. I'm going to go take that and make money off of it, you know, or we work in collaboration and you make the connections with somebody who's already doing something like that. And you build out this magnificent solution that you by yourself or this other person would have never done.
Exactly.
Very looking forward to seeing what comes of this. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cardano's been a big item for me. I wasn't going to get into the voting, but I managed to get my 500 ADA in just before the voting started. And I'm so glad I did, because it got me seriously looking through all the proposals. And I've jotted down about 20 that are doing work that I thought we might have to do, but somebody else has already done, and we just now need to link to it.
This is key. This is absolutely key. This is why I did the list. I said, this is not a vetted list that's telling you what to vote for. This is to look for collaborations, to see what's out there, to stop reinventing the wheel and working in our silos, but to actually work together. And this is where we're at. Climate change, the challenge. This time it's climate change, the collaboration. Scott Point and Yoram said it at the beginning. Climate change is a failure in cooperation. We are going to cooperate, come hell or high water. And it's, if we don't, that's what we have, is hell and high water, come to think of it. So
get the both.
Let's do it. Ryan,
if I
sorry
may,
to jump. Simon.
I just wanted to say this. I've been in a Twitter space yesterday, and I've heard from someone who's been in the Cardano community for quite a while now, but didn't, you know, just recently discovered Catalyst. And I think there's still, and I've seen that with you too as well, Simon. Here's Simon, by the way. So
yes, it's confusing too, was it?
And Yeah,
That's a good connection.
now that I hear it again, I guess we gotta do, you know, better work on onboarding all those Cardanians onto Catalyst. I think it's really, as you said, it's really important. You know, all the collaboration is happening in Catalyst, I think, or a lot of it at least.
That's something that it's come up in the last few days. Yoram said this. We're communities within Catalyst. We were first drawn to Cardano because of something that drew us here. I don't know what it is, but we're drawn to Cardano. We find Catalyst, and we see these communities forming. And I'm noticing this movement within Cardano towards climate change. It's a fact of life. If you're not moving and considering regeneration, you're thinking extraction, you're history, you're a dinosaur. But when you start thinking regenerative, this is where we're moving. And we have this movement happening within Cardano, and hopefully we can facilitate it. I said to Yoram today, I said, we'll start it, we'll facilitate it, and then we're going to move out of the way and see what it becomes, because it doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to all of us. Cardano for Climate is all of us. So even though it sounds like I'm kind of bossy sometimes, no. Yoram, go ahead.
No, it's good. No, that's the objective, right, of the call today, is how we bring it to all of us, right? We don't want to, yeah, I mean, we need to scale it as a collaborative universe, network, common, that is all of us. So yeah, and then within that, everyone find his passion, what he can push, find his work, and it's fine.
And Ryan, you've been working on a roadmap, an idea for a roadmap. Maybe you can just share a little bit about that. I'm going to pop off for 2 seconds.
Well, and it's more how all of these different entities, Quasar and I have had some, Quasar, Yonderlust, whatever he decides to be in whichever chat, have had some discussions on a map of the Catalyst ecosystem. 4,000 proposals. If we put pins on a drawing that had where we're at now and where we're at in the future, where would those pins be? And so that is the type of roadmap that I want to populate and get, so that we know that, well, there's a whole bunch of people in this community, but we have no coverage in this community on the roadmap, and just help to have people auto delegate themselves to areas of the ecosystem that needs more work. And obviously with the earth being the key to that, how do we develop this roadmap and ecosystem so that we live as good as we can, and all of our efforts are leading to a not just a blockchain life, but a better one that takes into account all these things, impact. So that's what I've been working on, and it's difficult to gather everybody, but I think that we have to know where we're going to is the huge part. If we asked all 18 people on the chat where
I think we lost him.
I think we've frozen. Oh, there you are, Ryan. You're back.
Yes.
All right, back. Just got on Starlink here, by the way. So trying to work out the kinks with that. Pretty fantastic. It auto finds the satellites, which is an entirely different proposition for everybody who's tried, semi off-grid internet. You have to sit out there with your compass and, find the satellites and zone it in, but it just literally finds it. But yeah, so if we have, we have 18 people on the call here, and if we ask them in 5 years, what is blockchain to you? We're going to get 18 different answers, and how it affects each of our lives. So just trying to, work in that and find a consensus on what a future looks like, and map the efforts that everybody's putting in towards that, and fill the holes. You know, because I think we have to have an end goal. That's a huge thing. You have to have an ending to know what you're doing presently. And right now we're still just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
And that's a good place to begin. See what sticks, and then see what forms out of it. Yoram has that on the slide. You know, our goal is that climate change is going to be a part of history, that it's going to be talked about, that this was a, you know, like the plague, any of these pieces of history, that humanity went through this challenge and we came out on the other end succeeding. This is our challenge right now. Yoram talks, you said 5-year, Ryan. Yoram, bar higher, 10-year plan. We're not here for, you know, a quick buck. We're not here in and out in 3 months to see a coin go to the moon and back. That's not why we're here. We're here starting at the beginning of planting trees in Turkey. We're here at the beginning, and we're going to see those trees start sequestering carbon. We're going to see lands turned over into regenerative agriculture, and we're going to know how much carbon is sequestered. We're going to have it traceable. We're going to know that when we contribute to something, this is the future that I see. This is the utopia, and that everybody's included. Nobody's filthy rich, you know, and controlling or powering over anybody else, but that we have a level playing ground and we're okay. Maybe it's too ideal for somebody, but that's my dream, you know, that we see. It's really hard to come out of this because we know this, what we live in right now. We know that the government's not doing what they should be doing, but that wasn't there, you know, 80 years ago. Something else was. The government system that we have now did not exist. It's not written in stone. We can co-create something better. Afia, thank you. Let's clear the slate too, right? Wipe the board clean. When you're in doubt and you're feeling like it's fear and, well, this is what I remember, this is my experience, this is going to happen, take that eraser and take the whiteboard and scrub it clean and start with a new blank piece of paper. Well, that's not blank, but pretend it is. And then you start drawing something else and you go, okay, I'm out here, we're starting to come together to the center. And then if you see, I don't know, I think that's the Cardano symbol. We're coming to the center, and then we're going to also be going back out. So it's multi-dimensional. Who knows? Who knows where we're going to be? Definitely by our work. Who's in it? Who's in it? Show of hands. Anybody? Yes. The celebration. Let's think about Lena when she's 10 years old. She's not going to be worrying about the things that 10-year-olds worry about today. Right?
I actually posted on my Facebook last night about this. I because I've been doing a lot of digging, I said I'd be surprised in 10 years' time if government as it exists today is still there. I can see it, you know, things transition rapidly once the idea catches on. And I think
our economy is going to change.
Yeah.
It's the system is failing us. It's failing us big time. And unless we build up the support system that we need, it's going to be turning into something that needs to be composted. So let's think of it as what it is, compost it, plant something new, and see what comes out of it. And think about Lena.
And I think one of the challenges we face that, you know, agriculture or climate change, things takes time. There's no magic. It's not that you produce. And government works on 4 or 5 years timeline, right? And then they need to really get elected and so on. So there's not really And so we need somehow to change the model that we work on and kind of take to a longer time view and understand that, you know, how we build that in a, it's not for the fast buck, again, to make a fast money that will solve the problem.
In 28 years from now, in 2050, where all the goals are supposed to be happening, there will be no government accountable for what's happening today. We will be. Lena will be 28 years old. As her parents, as her community surrounding her, we are the ones responsible. We are who we've been waiting for. Said it over and over again. And we all are Cardano for climate.
I've got a question. Could you see something like Catalyst working to run democracy? That's where I'm sort of starting to scratch around and working if it can scale. The one thing I found this time, I looked through all of the different challenge funds, and I think there was over 450 proposals in there. I think I ended up voting on about 109 of them. And you sort of like, imagine if this was a full democracy where the whole country was putting in proposals. It wouldn't be 450 proposals, it'd be 45,000. So there's no way you could possibly expect everybody to go in and review everything. So the next step, I think, is some kind of way of classifying and qualifying yourself to vote on stuff or something like that. I haven't got the solution yet. I've got the question on how would we build a system.
I do have an idea. And sorry, Simon, Simon, I'm going to just slip in here. So when we get funded for climate change, the challenge, it's 500,000 US dollars in ADA. What if we collaborated as a community and took a portion of that fund? Let's let, you know, I don't want to control it, but let's let people that want to be part of a portion of it, maybe half, 80%, whatever it might be. Let's work on a collaborative project and we figure out the budget. We're not in competition with each other. We are in competition with the forces outside of us to get this shit right. So let's set a different model and take a chunk of it. And so this will be climate change, the collaboration, and see if we can get this right. So that's my, and it's coming up, you know, that this seems like this is a possibility. Fabulous that the Catalyst exists. Fabulous that we have this safe and lively environment to work in and co-create things. I so appreciate it. And we may be able to come up with a different model. Simon.
I think that is really what we're trying to solve here, right? In Catalyst, like having a different governance model. And of course, I mean, it would be really amazing if we could, you know, build a real like governance model like the state has, and not just a governance model like a fund could have it. But that is, I think that is like a really long-term goal. Dor, in one of, where did he say that? In one of his interviews, I think it was in his interview at the summit, he was talking about having, you know, having one government for the whole world in the future. And that is honestly something that I've been thinking about for years now. I think we are going to have one government for the whole world, and we already, you know, we already have the United Nations, right? So that is kind of a bit of a governance model. I think one of the problem is that our governance models are like not direct. We are having a governance class. So in every country we have senators and other politicians, and then those politicians, they select other politicians, and so you're creating a governance class where, you know, normal people like you and me don't even have to pay attention anymore. And of course, why would we if there's no incentive to do it?
So it looks like we have to, sorry, Simon, it looks like we have to wrap up in 5. And I apologize if I hog the microphone sometimes. One thing that Felix said in this collaboration model, if we're voting, consensus has failed. We haven't heard all the voices. So let's work together on something this in Fund 8 that works to hear every voice. It'll be a heck of a lot of hard work. I'm in it and I will help facilitate this no matter what. And if there's arguments or disagreements, we're going to figure this out. I don't know what it'll look like, but I know that voting to me doesn't work. Collaboration, I'm finding, does. So if we can work on something where we come as a group, as a community, and reach consensus on what we put forward in Fund 8, at least for a portion of it. Let's use that as an experiment. That's my hope. So, and Simon, I'm sorry if you had more to say. I know that I have to leave real quick. Maybe you want to carry on. I'm not sure. Yoram.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to hear Guillermo and Tefara and how are you guys? I mean, what do you think? I mean, thank you for, I mean, so good to have Argentina and Ethiopia with us here. And
Miroslav, where do you dial in from?
I am from Croatia.
Croatia. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Vamos, Guillermo.
And Guillermo is from Argentina.
Yeah, maybe
Hi,
maybe
everyone.
Melanie, you know also Croatian, some words. You speak lots of
No,
languages.
I don't know. I don't know them yet. I don't know them yet. You will teach me. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Hello, how are you?
Yes. We can also say like
the
the
important
Italian
words.
people, ciao, ciao, everybody understands, so it's same.
Ciao, buongiorno.
Ciao
Come
is
stai?
good because I think I'm gonna stop the recording now.
Yes.
Ciao.
Perfect timing.